to Raptor 360, a new segment where we cover all angles of the school. Today, we have our very own principal, Miss Vigil. So sit up straight and pay attention. Hi, Miss Vigil. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm going to ask you a little bit of questions about just your daily life in this school and how our school year is looking. So first off, what changes have we had in this school year from last year?
Every school year is a little bit different from the one before, and then in other ways it's the same. There is such a strong sense of the Raptor community that lives on year after year, and just that sense of who we are and what we do and how we do it with each other feels very similar from year to year. Things that are different, if we went in the physical structure, we have a whole new set of bleachers. We have a new lab classroom, a science lab classroom down on first floor. We have some different things that happen in the student leadership classroom. And so some physical spaces are different. But what is so much more important in a school is just the people and just the energy. And so that we said goodbye to an incredible class of 2018, and those students are now matriculating and heading off to college and doing the things that we had always hoped and wanted for them. And that means we get to welcome in a whole new group of Raptors. And so we have about 848 freshmen. So we have new Raptors in the house, so that's new. In terms of just focus areas, one of the things that was most exciting for us this school year was putting the Raptor Academy into place, and just a strong system of support for our ninth graders so that they can have academic success from day one. In order to make that happen, we had more than 200 upperclassmen who said that they would want to be part of that program and be that support system and be a part of the tutoring for those particular students. So that's something that is new and different this year that we're excited about, and already just see incredible things happening and looking forward to that throughout the school year.
Yes, ma'am. It's good to see Raptors supporting each other.
It's always been just how we do things, whether it was link leaders or just the different kind of programs. We did already have tutors in the math resource center, but to have it go on such a grand scale is just a huge testament to who we are.
Yes, ma'am. All right. What are you most excited for this year?
I think it is just, and if I think back to the week that we have as teachers before the students come, we talked a little bit about the suspense of a new school year, because similar to our students who get to meet new friends and make connections, we also will bring on new faculty members, and they always bring new energy and new perspective, and so that's always fun. But I would really have to go back to the Raptor Academy. I'm really excited to just take the extraordinary things that already happen here and have just even greater success for our kids.
Yes, ma'am. So a little bit about you.
Yeah.
What has inspired you to become a principal?
I never set out in my career path or my early thinking when I was even your age, thinking I wanted to be a high school principal. That just sort of happened. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. So from the time that I first went to school and I was in kindergarten, I knew school was my place. And so that started. I have younger siblings, so I basically said I've been teaching since I was 5, because as soon as I kind of got a sense of how school worked, I was playing school, and my younger siblings were my students, and we had a blast doing that. So I always knew I wanted to teach, and loved mathematics, and so I was a math teacher for an extended period of time, and then everything else just sort of happened. There was an opportunity to become an activities director, and I was asked, do you think this would be something you would like to do? And it's not something that I thought, I would want to do that, but it wasn't until it was put in front of me and gave it some thought, and so did that for a couple of years, and that had the opportunity to be an assistant principal, and still at that point never thought, it was never like that was a career path for me. At the time, when our then principal had announced that she was going to retire, I felt I had been at the school for quite a period of time and felt so connected, and felt just this huge just opportunity to be able to step into that place to be able to lead in this capacity. And so I've done just a lot of different things. It just ended up happening. So yeah.
So is this your favorite, career by far?
That's hard. I do love this. I think I have the most amazing, in just the most extraordinary position to be able to support people, teachers, students, a community in this capacity. There are times, when we're putting the Raptor Academy pieces together, when we're meeting new faculty, just so many different things that make this exciting. When I'm, at the softball playoff games in October, and it's just absolutely beautiful outside, and I'm out there supporting kids and sitting with our community doing that, I always think, this is my job. And I do feel like I did win the career lottery, but I loved everything that I have done along the way. I was, in addition to teaching, when I was teaching, I was also coaching, and I loved that. I loved doing both of those particular pieces, and I miss that a lot. I miss just that daily contact when you're working towards a specific goal with a group of students. So I loved it all. Yeah.
Okay.
It may be hard to say it was my favorite, but I do feel like right now I did win the career lottery.
All right. So talking a little bit about kind of your role in the school. What do you do on a daily basis?
I'm laughing because there's nothing that's routine. Now there is. It's a variety of different things. One day is different from the next. What is true about any leadership position is trying to find the balance between being able to be proactive and do the long-term thinking and the long-term planning, and to not be put in a situation where you're constantly reacting, because if you're always in a reactive mode, you're not able to truly lead and kind of set a vision and move towards just different initiatives and things that would be good for everyone involved. So it's a balance. It's a balance between those particular pieces. It ranges. Monday's different from Friday. For example, on Friday mornings, we start our days with two different meetings, which are more thought meetings, where we plan and think and work together in terms of what might our students need from us next, and what might our faculty need from us next in terms of support and professional learning. So that's more of a Friday piece. On Monday, we do a lot of things that are more making sure that the day-to-day kind of things are done and the management pieces are done. But just for example, today, just before walking down here, I interviewed somebody for one of our one of our classified positions. So it ranges. There's no routine in this position, which is actually why I love it. Yeah.
So how has your previous positions in the school, coaching, teaching, how have those kind of all those attributes helped you in your current position?
Now in the role that I'm in, I feel fortunate that I have had many opportunities to have a different perspective. So at one point I mentioned in addition to teaching, I was a coach. For 3 years I was our activities director, so I did a lot of those particular pieces. And when I was the activities director, I was also the student leadership advisor. At that time, the same person did both of those things. And so I've been able to draw upon those experiences. And I feel like in many ways I've walked the different paths that different people are. And so I can connect and relate and understand because I've had those same experiences. And other times, just you started out with, how is this school year different? Things are very different now than they were 10 years ago or even 10 years before that. So I would say, as much as I can draw upon those experiences, it's still absolutely important for me to continue to be a learner and to connect and listen to other people and what their challenges are, what their successes are, and then to be able to just be able to use those conversations and those resources in order to figure out what we would need to do next.
Yes, ma'am. So, talking a little bit about your daily activities, you come in contact with a lot of people, throughout the day or throughout the week. So, who is your favorite person that you come in contact? Who is your favorite person that you come in contact with in this school?
Okay, that's an unfair question. And just that would be like asking a parent to name their favorite child, and no one's going to do that. And so, and we don't do that because there is really no answer. Everyone's just so different, and it's neat to be able to interact with, just as an example, maybe a senior, somebody who you've gotten to know over 4 years, and you know them a little differently from getting to meet a freshman who is just now starting their experience as a Raptor, and that's equally exciting. Talking with teachers, talking with their parents, working with community members, all that's good. I know you probably want me to name a person. That's what you were after. So I get, if I answered this differently, so I know what you asked, but if I took the question more from an approach of who do I admire, I definitely could give you several. One person, for example, that is back in our Raptor community, who just means the world to me, is John Green. He was, when we both opened this building together as teachers, he was a science teacher, I was a math teacher, eventually, and he was a track coach and a football coach. He eventually became our athletic director at Eagle Crest, and then went on to be our district athletic director for Cherry Creek Schools. And in my coaching experience, I went to him for a lot of mentorship, and so he's just an extraordinary human being who just has shown incredible resiliency in his life, incredible accomplishments, and he's an incredible athlete in and of on his own right, but has stayed involved. He has since retired from our school and our school district, but last year when we needed a track coach, and that's his thing. Among other things, he's just a gifted individual. But we reached out, and he was willing to come back into the Raptor fold and be a coach, and to have him back in this building pretty regularly. When I see him, I just light up, because he means a lot to me and a lot to this school. And when I look to people that you aspire to be, he just handles challenges with grace. And he handles challenges with what are the possibilities, those kinds of things. So I would put him on the list. Another person I would put on the list that has been a part of us is Shane Snyder. He's one of our assistant principals, and he is as fine a human being as I have ever known. Just solid to his core. He means well for everyone. He's incredibly talented, incredibly skilled at working with people. Again, just balanced, always looking for, no matter what the circumstances are, what can we learn from it? How can we get better? And he's just someone that I feel like I rely on pretty heavily. So yeah, those are people.
Wow. Big praise from a very admirable woman. So, both of you, please keep up the good work. So, talking about people we admire, you are on the list for many people in the school, and especially students. And so, as they go through their high school experience, what is some advice that you would give to them as they push forward in becoming adults? When I think back, because we are at the beginning of the school year, and we just had our open house for our 9th graders, and there are just different ways that we bring, people into the experience. And what you hear people say time and time again is get involved. It's funny talking to seniors over the years, and when they're on that final piece and they just look at you and they think it went so quickly, and people tell you, from your freshman year it is going to go quickly, and they tell you to take advantage of the opportunities. And I think just looking back at how many seniors I've had that I've talked with that are at a place where they're thinking maybe I didn't do that, and they are thinking back about maybe what they might have done differently. It's really that. It's to put your whole heart into it and to do things that are uncomfortable. When you do things only that are comfortable to you, you pretty much just stay status quo. You have to experience some discomfort, and whether that is joining a different group in your classroom, and if you're working on a group project, being willing to work with somebody different to get a different perspective and have a different experience. Whether it is thinking, oh, maybe I'll try that club, or maybe I'll go out for that sport. There's kind of a window of time in your life where you really get to just try very different things, and that this is one of those sweet spots for that. And you learn a lot about yourself. And what you might learn is that that's not your thing, but you have to kind of rule those things out as much as you have to rule them in. And so it is absolutely to put yourself out there academically, to not hold back, to take those risks, because that's where the learning and the growth and the thrill of it all. When we're uneasy, there is a thrill with that, and so it would definitely be that. Yes, ma'am. So, talking about getting involved, can you tell us a little bit about your high school experience and how you got involved in high school?
Interestingly, a lot of my career experiences were similar to my high school experiences. I ran cross country. I was in National Honor Society. I was school was my thing. I used to laugh when there would always be talent show tryouts. I'd go, well, I feel like my greatest talent is studying. But that's not something you'd put on stage. But I could study the heck out of anything, and so I love learning. I've always loved learning. So very academically driven. That's who I was as a student, and that's how I am right now in my profession, but also, like I mentioned, a cross-country runner, and then I was a cheerleader as well. And so when I talk about coaching, I coached our program here for 14 years, and so a lot of who I was, I've taken to this experience as well.
Yes, ma'am. And so, speaking of experiences, I feel like maybe when people think of principals, they don't think, I can connect to them. So what is something something about you that most people don't know that you would like them to know?
That's a bit of a tough question too, because I feel like I'm a pretty open person. I just kind of put it out there. I like to be direct. I like to. There's not much that I kind of hold back on. Maybe sharing my long-term goals. I love what I do here, and I would always be in education in some way, and I love the big city. I want to live in New York City at some point, and so way down the road, I hope to move to New York and live there for a couple of years, and maybe work on a college campus. I was just up at CSU this past weekend and just walking around the campus. If it's not high school, maybe it's college for a period of time. So that. Other things, I love college basketball, and so I follow that pretty closely. And what I also love is after there's one particular team I watch pretty regularly because I actually appreciate the coach a lot and like to watch the coach. And after the game is over, my favorite thing is to wait about 10 minutes and then watch the post-game conference, because I like love all parts of that. And so maybe that's something that people don't know, is that beyond just our sports here, I do love college sports. I do not like professional sports. I'll watch them. If they're on and everyone else is kind of doing it, but my heart and soul is in kids, and so there's nothing I like more than watching kids. Whether it be on stage or maybe in a robotics competition or in an athletic contest. I like to be the champion for them, and that versus professional sports. So maybe that's something people don't know.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.